Alright, time for another YouTube video. Age of Empires 4. And I'm up against Bitchface, playing the Delhi Sultanate. Alright. What map is this? Oh, I think this is Mongolian Heights. Yeah. Alright. Oh! No, I'm wrong. This is Confluence. Oh, I was thinking this is another game. Okay, well, let's run with it. Let's just run with this. I believe this is a quick match game, so this counts toward the ladder.
Yeah.
Just going with one scout opening so far. Standard English opening over here. We are looking to get into the second age as quickly as possible and put on some longbow pressure. But interestingly enough, we are on Confluence, so there's another priority that we're trying to deal with, and that is trying to control these passes, these river passes, trying to keep our opponent to his small little northern corner, if that's at all possible. Now, I'm very far from a top level player, that's for sure. And I'm used to English openings on fewer land maps, and so I'm basically treating this, for better or for worse, I'm treating this as basically a land map situation, basically like a mountain pass type of deal, or even a hill and dale situation where you have two openings in your area. So what I'm trying to do is either secure your side or to keep your opponent into their little corner. And if your opponent lets you do that, well, then you've got to do it. But better opponents at higher ELO ratings, they'll probably look to prevent you from doing that, or you'll have to deal with counterplay where they'll try to do that to you. Or more likely, they'll probably put in some, they'll probably have some river play, some, put docks on, and try to control the passes with arrow ships and things like that. So we'll see how this game proceeds in the first few minutes of the game over here, and there's not too much interaction between the two parties. Do I go for two scouts in this one? Let me see. Oh, that's really unfortunate. The opponent just hand-delivered 4 sheep to me. Thank you very much. Let me see. We have 13 villagers and 2 military. That means I have 2 scouts. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got 2 scouts. 2 scouts are on the board. There's one here, and there's the other one over here. I see. Okay. And our Delhi opponent is aging up with the Dome of the Faith. Are we aging up as well? Yes, we are. We've got 2 villagers on it. And I believe he's also got 2, just hidden there. You can't see him. You can barely see him on the scaffolding of this building. There we go. Very interesting how this quadrant spawned. Look at this. There's not a lot of resources on this. There's just one stone pit. No gold. That's it. There's no gold on this corner. Whereas on this one over here, there are a lot of resources. So if this game were to go into the 4th age, for example, where we will have exhausted all of our resources on our quadrants, there would be a massive push into this quadrant over here. There'd be a big fight. This one here is much less valuable. Okay. So our opponent has aged up to the 2nd age. And we're lagging behind a little bit. Wow, look at all the sheep that we've collected. 14 sheep under the town center at this time. Whereas we have no live sheep underneath the town center of our opponent. That's because he hand-delivered them all to me. But I guess as the deli, you could do just fine here with your berry patches. Notice how he's invested in 2 mills on both of his nearby berry patches. I have a forward villager here. I'm into the second age. And I've already begun to mine, even before we aged up, I already began to mine stone. There we go, there's the stone pit, in preparation to build stone walls. There we go. Here's the first stone wall down. You'll notice that I placed these walls at a diagonal so that opposing land troops cannot cross this, but also if my opponent has put down a dock and he has any kind of ships, he will not be able to cross this as well. So building the wall across the river passes, the river crossings in this way kind of solves 2 problems at once. And I do something very similar here on this one. So we're succeeding in our goal. Our opponent is basically letting us, playing very passively, is letting us take control of 75% of the map, 3/4 of the map. And if your opponent lets you do that, you have to oblige him. Take advantage of all the space that your opponent can give you without overextending yourself as much as possible, and that's why we're putting down these stone walls to secure this position and be able to safely put military production nearby so that reinforcements don't have to cut across the entire map, and we can put some real pressure onto our opponent over here, which is, especially in the early game, that is the strength of the English civilization in Age of Empires 4. Alright, let's see what the unit counts are for both me and my opponent, Bitchface. I've got 25 villagers and 6 military units, as opposed to 28 and 5, 28 and 6 now. So my opponent's got the lead on me in terms of villager production. A good 10% more than me. And that can prove to be very significant, especially in the early game, but I have map control. And I am starting to push. I'm starting to push, and all of my economy is basically focused in on making some kind of push here in the early game. Alright, so here we go. I am now scouting out my opponent to see what's the situation, what's going on here, where are his key resources. Notice that he's got a gold pit right here. And at the same time, we've got a few longbows coming in here, just clearing the path, clearing the way of all these wolves to make this push without any kind of resistance over here. Okay, we've got some military opposition here on the west side of this quadrant. Now my forward villager has built a barracks, just in case we're going to come across any horsemen that are going to want to harass our longbows. Basically, when it comes to Age of Empires 4, good players will know exactly what the English are going to do. What's the game plan for the English? And perhaps that the same can be said with all the other civilizations. There's an optimal theory, an optimal game theory when it comes to each civilization. These guys are trying to chase down my scout. A little bit of damage there. And so, thinking opponents will try to thwart you, and they'll try to anticipate what you're doing. So in the case of English, perhaps in the early game especially, you might come across opponents who will put down barracks and come up with men at arms to try to combat your longbows. That's a good answer to the longbows. Or they might put down a stable or two stables and try to fight your longbows with horsemen. Or in the case of the French, Royal Knights. So you've got to be ready to counter their counter. They're going to counter you, but you've got to counter what they're going to counter. So it's sort of like a rock, paper, scissors situation. And here I am here trying to close off this bit of the map. Even more map control. Maybe I'll even put a stone tower right here where my longbows can key in on these villagers. But look, we have a little bit of a military push over here. I did garrison some units into this so that they're protected and that they're shooting their arrows from the same vantage point inside that tower. And that's the great thing about these towers for the English players. They give such a great buff. Look at this. I trained some men at arms over here because I did see that he had some archers, and I wanted to combat their archers with very, very tanky men at arms. So we're just going to clean up this push here. I don't think my opponents got very many military units after this push. Yeah, almost nothing. 0. Uh-oh. No, he's in big trouble. And there it is. He gives up. That makes sense to me. That makes sense. He's got no map control. He's in really big trouble as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just going to bring the full power of the English early game down on this guy. And very soon put up Rands and finish off the game. So there you have it. That was a quick game. Thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next one.